there's a lot of things that can impact the health of your thyroid, but gut health is an area that I feel like often gets overlooked. There's so many things that are connected from your gut to your thyroid that I feel like needs to get addressed. And this can also be quite a big missing link for a lot of people who are really struggling with thyroid stuff. So one thing to keep in mind is that when we think about thyroid hormone conversion, so we have your inactive T4 and then you have active T3. You have to convert a very, very large percentage of your inactive T4 to active T3 because you don't make very much. You only make like 20% of T3. A lot of this conversion happens outside of your thyroid. So like 60% happens in the liver, but 20% happens in the gut. And that's quite a large percentage. If you have something going on in the gut, that's going to reduce a 20% of conversion. And that can really impact someone's health. And then of course, how they're feeling with their thyroid health. That's a very, very large percentage. So making sure that you're addressing your gut health is going to be super, super essential. Also keep in mind that this is where you assimilate all your vitamins, your minerals, your nutrients. You're pulling it out of the food that's coming through the digestive tract. So if our gut health is off, if we have things like leaky gut or our gut's inflamed or we have like a parasite or bacteria, if we have things like that going on, your body is not going to prioritize trying to assimilate all these vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. This is why when I test my clients, I actually do stool testing on all of my clients. I need to make sure that the gut is doing quite well, because if it's not, we have to really start addressing that head on immediately, because all the other things we're doing, it's going to be hard to correct. You will really have a hard time balancing your minerals if you have a whole bunch of things going on in the gut. Minerals are a really big area that can impact your thyroid as well. So it kind of all connects, and you can't just look at one area. But the gut health, like I said, it's such a key piece of the puzzle that has to be looked at. And I will also say that the majority of people that have hypothyroidism, especially have Hashimoto's, where we have the autoimmune condition, that your body thinks your thyroid's a foreign invader, most of them have leaky gut. There's so many studies that have shown that leaky gut is really common with this. And if that is not being addressed, you are really going to struggle with that thyroid hormone conversion, as well as also keep in mind, this is, if you take thyroid medication, you have to break it down. You have to absorb it. A lot of things go through the gut, and that's going to be a huge, huge challenge to do if we have a really, really messed up gut, if we're totally inflamed, and we do have things like I mentioned where we have a pathogen or something like leaky gut. So it's very important to actually assess for that. Also, something else that I wanted to point out too that can be a really big impact with the gut thyroid connection is if you have a pathogen. So we have some type of bug. So it could be a parasite, it could be a bacteria. But one of the things that they do, they will actually accumulate heavy metals. And what's an area of your body where heavy metals the thyroid basically has an affinity for heavy metals. You can, because remember, your thyroid's like a little sponge. You can actually absorb and hold on to heavy metals in the thyroid. And the thyroid itself, you're going to have a really hard time with making thyroid hormones, with converting thyroid hormones. It's going to be a really big challenge to do that. It's very hard to do that when we have a lot of heavy metals in the body, and especially with the thyroid. So that's why you really have to be super, super conscientious about what you're doing with your gut health and testing for it to make sure there isn't anything in there that's going to impact the thyroid. Also keep in mind too that it can, when we have things going on in the gut, it can actually impair your immune system. And remember, with Hashimoto's, your body thinks your thyroid's a foreign invader, so your immune system is on high alert. It's trying to attack your thyroid, and so your immune system kind of goes on high alert in that regard. Well, unfortunately, when we have things going on in the gut, it can actually impair our immune system overall. Remember, 80% of your immune system's in your gut. So you'll impair the immune system overall. So now you could have an autoimmune attack against your thyroid, but now your gut is impaired and it's not even going to fight off the other things that are trying to come in because your immune system is shut down or impaired because the gut health is so poor because of a pathogen. And the other factor that I also want to point out, when we have something going on in the gut, especially a pathogen, can actually raise thyroid antibodies. So you can see how there's all these connections with our immune system that's connected to our thyroid, with how we're converting our thyroid hormones, how we're breaking down and using our thyroid hormones. It's all connected, and so much of it can start from the gut. Even like viruses, like Epstein-Barr virus is very common. We see this very often with Hashimoto's and thyroid disease, and so we need to rule that out. We can do that via stool testing. So that's why it's very, very important to make sure that you are addressing and looking at your gut health. Outside of testing, reducing how much inflammatory foods, cutting out inflammatory foods like gluten and sugar, they're really, really hard on the gut. Drinking aloe juice can soothe the gut. You can even do things like taking a probiotic. Now, I'm a little cautious with probiotics. I like spore-based. If you don't have test results to see which you're deficient in bacteria-wise that you need, spore-based are going to be my best bet. Microbiome Labs makes Megaspore, which is probably one of my favorite ones. That's something that you can do. Drinking bone broth, using castor oil packs, things like that are just very soothing and calming for the gut. Things that you can do that are safe to do without actually having test results. So I don't really throw a lot of people on gut supplements without seeing test results, other than like doing a spore-based probiotic. But doing anything you can do to just calm that gut down and stop bringing all these inflammatory foods in. And the other thing that you can do, work on stress. I can't emphasize how much when we're under stress, your gut health will really, really struggle when we have so much stress going on. So kind of keep those kind of things in mind. If you have any questions with this, want more information on how you can do the stool testing, on what else you can do to support your gut health, definitely reach out, let me know, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.